everybody. Welcome back to the Katie Lance podcast and the Get Social Smart show. I'm Katie Lance, founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. We have a very special interview in store for you. This interview is our monthly Get Social Smart Academy Spotlight. And I'm thrilled to have two very special people in the house with us today. We have Tom Pietsch and Susan Hall. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Katie.
How are you?
Hi, everybody.
I'm so excited to have you guys with us today. We're going to have a really fun conversation.
Oh,
awesome.
We're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know Tom and Susan, I think I've known you guys at least, I want to say probably a good 3 or 4 years. You've been a part of our academy for quite some time. It's been a while. And I know we connected in person a few years ago at one of our first mastermind events. I'm going to go ahead and read through Tom and Susan's bio. So if you guys don't know Tom and Susan, by the end, you will want to know them. Trust me. Tom Pietsch is the co-managing partner of Tom and Cindy and Associates at Long & Foster. Their team is a longtime powerhouse located in Alexandria, Virginia, and they consistently sell 250 to 300 homes each year, which we're going to ask them about in just a second. After graduating from Virginia Tech, Tom worked as a ski instructor and then on Capitol Hill, and then in the airline industry. And with real estate, Tom really concentrates on the marketing and lead gen side of the business. He sees his job as making the phone ring, and his goal is for new clients to say, "We see you everywhere," which I love that. Tom is currently designing a new flagship office for the team, adding some new agents to grow a new generation of Tom and Cindy teammates. And when he isn't working, Tom's swimming, he's checking out new restaurants, he's playing his guitar, he's watching Ted Lasso, one of my favorites, and planning some fun international travel. So Tom, so excited to have you with us today.
Thanks, Katie. Good to be here.
Absolutely. And of course, we have the lovely Susan Hall, and Susan is Tom and Cindy's marketing director. Originally from the Mount Vernon area of Alexandria, Susan is a graduate of the University of Virginia, and she's been with the team over 15 years. She and Tom and Cindy constantly are researching, testing, and tweaking new methods and platforms that really help their sellers achieve consistently superior results. Susan is a fanatic for detail, which I love. She's the team's voice on social media and directs their extensive video projects. In her free time, she's an avid runner, a Peloton queen, loves a fast-paced mystery novel, and traveling to the clear and beautiful waters of the Caribbean. So, Susan, welcome to you as well.
Thanks, Katie. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I love it. So I would love to hear kind of your backstory a little bit. Tom, you mentioned that you were in the airline industry. You were traveling extensively. How'd you end up in real estate?
Well, I knew that I wanted to do something different. I was a young guy. I was a flight attendant. It was awesome. Every time I went to work, I'd meet some new fun people and we'd have a good time. But I knew I wanted to do something different. And it was hard to do. It would be hard to be a part-time lawyer or a part-time doctor or something. And I just had always liked design and homes. So I decided to try real estate, and one thing led to the other. I met Cindy was the top agent in our office, and I had a listing for another flight attendant's townhouse. And I went away. This was before cell phones, and I was at the airport. And right before we took off, one more time, I put in all my numbers and got my messages, and it was an agent saying, I'm writing a contract and on your listing, and I need to get it to you because my people have a time crunch. So I quickly called Cindy, had her take care of it, and kind of a light bulb went off because she was the top agent in the office. She did a great job. She spared me from all the paperwork and all these details that I didn't want to do as much. And I knew a lot of people because I had grown up in Northern Virginia. So it was a good mix. We are very different people, but we each are complementary to what the other person doesn't want to do. And it allows me to pursue the parts of real estate that I'm really interested in. So that's kind of where it started. And then we, I don't know if anyone out there remembers Howard Brinton, but we got into Star Power probably in the year 2000 and just started copying things and borrowing things from people across the country. And that's how our team began and started growing.
That's awesome. You have to be inspired by the best, right? And it's great when you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can see what other folks are doing and be inspired by that. I love that.
Absolutely.
And I love that you said how you and Cindy are very different. I know we're going to get into video, and I know I tend to see you in terms of a lot of the marketing, but I love that obviously it's a lot like, I mean, in some regards, similar but different, of course, to how Paul, my husband, also my business partner, how we work. Often you'll see me on camera and generally he is not on camera, and that's everyone's, you've got your strengths and you've got your, the things that you bring to the table. So I love that about the partnership that you and Cindy have. That's great.
It works well, and we're not constantly fighting to do the same thing because she wants nothing to do with what I do, and vice versa. So,
that's good.
It does work out really well.
That's awesome. And then Susan, how about you? I mean, have you always kind of been in real estate, or I would love to kind of just hear your backstory, how you got to where you're at.
Sure, Katie. So, I graduated from college. I really had no idea, what I, wanted to do. And, kind of, if it was 2005, I started with, Tom and Cindy. I was originally their listing manager. So I was the person who, went out to the properties, got notes, made the descriptions and the brochures and, kind of, all those types of things, getting, properties ready to go on the market. And, we, it was super busy in 2005, and we ended up, getting a couple, part-time people in the listing department to help, get everything together. And I gradually, moved into helping with different projects like our direct mail campaigns, community publications, kind of helping, get our voice out there in the community. And then, kind of when social media came into play, that was a natural sort of progression to kind of, get us going in the social media realm. So, I really had no intentions of, getting into real estate, but here I've been since 2005. So
if you had seen Susan in 2005, we at that point, we had this great idea that our team was going to be like a family, and, everybody's birthday, we were going to have cake and celebrate and lunch. And when it was Susan's birthday, she was just petrified because all this attention was going to be on her, and to get her from that to actually now being really good on videos and everything. Wow. It's a pretty amazing transformation. And when we hired her, she didn't know a lot about real estate or anything. She's always been a very good writer, but just an amazing worker where, those of you listening to this that are, thinking about hiring a listing manager, I mean, there was a week she put 14 listings on, and it would be where Cindy has this habit of coming in with a folder and going, we got this listing and it needs to go on tomorrow. And she's just walking the walk and so proud of herself. And if you have 12 listings going on and somebody hands you a 13th, Cindy's all happy and smiles. Susan's about to have a breakdown.
Like, can we wait till next week?
Right. Yeah. Give me a few days.
Exactly.
That's great. So that's really kind of a good segue to kind of talk a little bit about your team structure. I know you said you're kind of working on, continuing to build your team, Tom, but at the top of reading your bio, I can't help but notice the fact that your team, is responsible for anywhere between 250 to 300 deals a year. That's a huge number for a lot of folks in the industry. So is it just you and Cindy? Is it you, Cindy, and some other agent? Like, we'd love just to get a sense of like, what does your team look like to produce not only at a high level, but I know that you're so passionate to, people aren't just another transaction. They're, the service that you provide for people is so amazing. So how do you do that?
Well, it's what we did, again, we kind of copied a lot of the people in the Howard Brinton network. And what we realized was, if you make, this much money and you can pay someone to do things that you don't have to do, that aren't income generating, then the fear that you have when you first do that is, we lived and died by every client, and they were like your family, your best friend. And so in growing, when teams first started, it seemed like they weren't really what I consider a team. They were, just two people who did stuff, but things fell through the cracks. And we wanted to make sure that if I was giving up something, the person that was stepping in and doing it was going to do it at least as well, and hopefully better than what I could do. And so we started first with a closing manager, because Cindy and I both wore so many hats at the time. Cindy's an early morning person. I'm a late person. I'd be putting stuff on our website at 1 a.m, running around, making sure signs were straight, doing marketing and meeting deadlines for postcards. And so, we were starting to do really well, but literally you would work 2, 3, 4 months in a row without a day off. So we started just putting the pieces in place. And so now we have a closing department, which is 2 people. We have a listing department. We have Susan kind of oversees the marketing department from the standpoint of, we grew our business with direct mail, geographic farming. And that's how we grew. So we would, when the internet was first starting, we'd get all these just fantastic calls, because all the big players, there was no longandfoster.com, remax.com, Zillow, Trulia, there was nothing like that. So we would constantly get great calls, and there wasn't enough hours in the day. So then we started adding some buyer agents. And so now we have, we probably have 12, 14 buyer agents. We've got a listing department, closing department. We have we call her our field tech, but Laurel puts up our signs, puts lock boxes on, delivers brochures,
You're getting a listing right now as we're speaking.
Well, maybe. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I love it.
But so that's the structure we kind of used. And then we do have, when we started working with you a lot, what was fantastic was hearing about how you were able to do the same thing that we were doing. Because videos, when we started doing videos, my God, the checklist was just killing her. And so, but Susan's always had this thing where she's so detailed and wants everything to be so right that she's afraid to give it up. And then she gives it up to somebody who does it great. And she's thinking, why was that so hard to do? And then we move to the next thing. So
it's hard to delegate sometimes. I can relate, Susan, so you're not alone.
You're used to doing something yourself, you're going through your checklist, you want everything to be right, and it's hard to, give up that control to somebody else, even though, our Allie is fantastic. She's really, super helpful with all those little checklist items now.
That's great. Well, and it really takes a village, it takes an army. And I appreciate you kind of sharing a little bit of that behind the scenes, because I think sometimes we just look at numbers, or we look at something from the outside and we don't always see, like, look, there's a whole, system, there's a whole process, there's an army of folks behind the scenes. So I appreciate you sharing that.
One thing I would add, Katie, that I think would help people that are trying to do what we've done is we've made every mistake in the book. So hiring agents, at first it was like anyone who wanted to be with us, we were so flattered we'd hire them. And then we realized maybe we had a lot of people that were selling one house a year. The same with people in your support staff. I say take your time. And if you can hire a superstar, that it's just the difference between just filling a niche or filling a need and filling it with somebody who's great is so different. And with our social media assistant marketing director that we've hired, I mean, we went through, did you get like 400 resumes or something?
Like 300 and some, you know.
Oh my gosh. And then, everybody wanted to work with you.
We narrowed it down and then had some good interviews with some people. But then when we talked to Allie, it was just like this perfect fit. Mm-hmm. And you know, when you have someone like that, no matter what position it is, you're not having to call them up and say, did you do this? Because you know they did it. Did you do this right? Well, you know they did it right. In fact, they found out something you didn't even know to add to it to kind of make it better. So
that's huge. So I would love to kind of talk a little bit about your marketing. I think that's a great, another great segue to talk about your marketing. And I know you're doing obviously a lot with video and social media. Are there one or two things that are really working for you right now? I also know you're probably still doing a lot of direct mail, I believe, right? And newsletters and things like that. So what's kind of working for you right now, or maybe what's not working?
Well, what's working is still our geographic direct mail postcards that we send out. And we started with one community, and then we just kind of went all around that community to other communities, and we've built it up. So we send out about 46,000 postcards every single month. And
wait, 46,000?
Yes. And it, it sounds kind of like intimidating at first, but the reality is we didn't start by doing that. We started sending out a couple thousand, and then we just kept building and saying, well, if you spend $2 and you make $5, wouldn't you do that all day long? And so we would find a community and we'd go, this is working. And everyone in this community has to pass by all our signs on their way home. Why don't we do that community? And so that's what we started doing in a couple of zip codes, and it just kept up. And that idea that I say about, when when somebody calls Cindy and says, well, we're thinking about selling our home and we want to buy a larger home. And she says, well, how did you know about us? And they say, well, we see you everywhere. I look at that as, we did our job on the marketing side. So whether they see the signs in the yard, the directional signs, they get our postcards, they get just sold cards. So we're big on that. But we wanted to have more kind of thinking about it like a stool where you want to have more legs. So it's not just the postcards, because what if that stopped working? So then we started doing, did we start doing the Boomtown and that before social media?
Maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, so we were getting a lot of leads, but we weren't managing them very well, and we weren't converting them well. And our most agents are awesome at, if they meet you, they love you, and they're going to find you a house, you're going to be happy, and you're going to be pals, but they're not good at, following up on someone who might not be a real lead. And with internet leads, you have to do that. So we got Boomtown. We used Boomtown for an internet leads management CRM. And then now we're using a company called Rockerbox so that our agents don't even have to really, spend that much time with them. We let Rockerbox do that. And then we started.
Your business is booming. It's like.
Well, one of the things that we didn't do as good a job on that we're trying to be better is past clients. And there's so many Brian Buffini and all these people that are doing, preaching your past clients. And it's easier to maintain an old client and get referrals from them than it is to create a new client. So we're getting better with that. And then when social media came along, we realized, well, we would see stuff, but I wouldn't really understand it. I wouldn't really understand how you could, great, you just spent, 2.5 hours on Facebook or something else, but how does that lead to actual business?
Right.
And you really kind of showed us how that can be done. And I still don't do a good job of it on a personal basis. And we had a little bit of a challenge that I think is unique to teams, which is I totally get how a person can form their online presence and have a voice and attract their tribe. But then how does a team do that without pushing people away that aren't their tribe, if you want to get a big tent, so to speak? And so that's kind of an ongoing learning process. And then being at that first mastermind just kind of, blew our minds in terms of you actually had it down to a science. And so just like we did with everything with the Star Power people, we said, well, Katie Lance has this and she's sharing it. And why don't we just, if she doesn't mind, we're going to copy what she's doing. And so that's why we've been big fans for so long and tried to, put in place for our business what you've done. And it's starting to pay big dividends.
I love hearing that. Well, it's really neat. I remember that first mastermind. I think you literally were at our very first one that we ever did in Napa. And I just remember, Tom, getting you on camera a little bit, and you were a little nervous, and you're like, and just to see like the evolution, like hopefully I'm not embarrassing you, but and we're going to link to your videos, some of your videos below. And I would definitely encourage anyone watching, like, check out Tom and Cindy's videos, and you'll see Susan making lots of appearances in there too. And it's just been really cool. I was watching some of them last night just to prepare for our interview today. And it's like, holy moly, like what an evolution, right? But that's what happens from the first time you get on camera to, 150 videos later. There's just something about doing the work, right? And the process. So do you have any advice for someone who maybe wants to get better at video, but maybe they're intimidated, or they're not quite, they don't like how they look or they sound, I guess any tips for people kind of who know that they probably need to do it, but maybe you're a little reluctant?
I think it's sort of one of your things, Katie. Done is better than perfect. That's, you just need to get on camera and do it. I was super nervous, over the years. I don't want to go back to those beginning ones. I think, with anything, the more that you do it, the better that you are, and the better prepared you are, the better you're going to be. So if you can we put together, we call it like a storyboard, put together, okay, here are the things that we're going to talk about, and try to familiarize yourself with the topic so you're not getting on camera. What was that? And try to kind of have a sense of, and also trying to figure out, what people want, what topics, are people going to be interested in. And I think, one of the things, I'm sorry, I'm a little off topic here, but local things, local events, market updates, community spotlights. People love that kind of thing. So if you can kind of, try to get comfortable with yourself, but also pick topics that, other people are going to be interested in, or you're interested in, it makes it a little bit easier, I think.
Absolutely.
I would have to say, Katie, that I remember at Napa, you asked us to go out on the deck and say, did we learn anything? What went well? And when I started doing video, I hated how I looked. I hated the sound of my voice. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was the worst. Like anyone thinking about doing video, you could not possibly be worse than I was in the beginning. We had an assistant listing manager, Kyle, who I made him do a video of me at the front of the office. And what I thought was I had to craft every word and I had to memorize every word. And every time I did it wrong, I had to start over again. And it was just agonizing. It was awful. And like Susan said, you just keep doing it. And now she and I can be somewhere. And the thing about videos is there's always going to be you go to a house, perfect day, blue sky, sun's out. Suddenly the lawn mowing crew is coming by, or the parking lot stripers are coming through. And so now
the airplanes overhead.
Yeah, we've done so many videos that it's not that we like how we look or sound any better. She looks great, but I realize that everybody already knows what you look like. They know what you sound like. So it's only me that had the issue. And one of the things Susan said was spot on, which was you have to get out of the judgment of yourself, because the subject matter, sometimes we'll put out a video and we'll go, this is cool. In fact, one of the ones we gave you, that's probably our second best video we've ever done. That probably hasn't gotten as many videos, as many views as the shorter video we gave you. Susan came home one day and said, you know what, there's a new homes project literally at the end of our street. And they've just broken ground. And so we said, okay, we're going to tell people about something they don't know about, some new homes.
Yeah.
Within 24 hours, we had more interaction than we've had on all of our videos put together.
We had people calling, asking, we had people emailing, about this community. Like,
we already have people that are going to just say, as soon as they open it up to buying, we're going to buy, and then we're going to have to sell our house. So this is like real stuff, and it's local things. People like that. And so they're not as judgy of you as you are of yourself sometimes. So to me, that was the big thing to learn, and just keep at it, because just like everything we do, you get better at it.
Yeah. I think that's such a great example. And one of the things you're touching on here, especially that video you did with the new project that's being developed, I think the fact that you just noticed it, right? And I always say, look at your life as content. And, you probably just looked out your window and you were like, hey, look, we should do a video about this, And I think that's where I think there's a lot of opportunity in that. I often hear from agents, well, everyone's doing video, maybe I'm late to the party, but I think the reality is that, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but I don't think a lot of people are doing it in a consistent manner, right? It's more of, I have a new listing, I have to do a video. And there's a lot of great listing videos that are out there, but I love that your videos, of course, a lot of them are listings and open houses, and it's fun to see, all the homes in the DC area, especially being a Californian. I'm like, look at those homes. Those are so different than what we see out here. But it's not just listings. It's like you said, your favorite local eateries, or, just different things that are relevant to your local area. So I love that.
Community videos, people love that stuff. And some of them, I put them out and I go, I'm cringing a little bit because I think it's going to be boring, or maybe we didn't have any fun with it or whatever. People love
those
that.
are the ones that people love. He's like, I don't really like this video. And then we start, I love this one. He's like, really? Like, it's, a local topic, people like it.
And I think that you were the one that said that the thing that kind of got to me the most was that idea of consistency over time. Mm-hmm. So if someone, one of my best friends, who's one of our oldest agents, he told us one day he's going to start doing videos, and he and Brenda are going to start doing videos. And I know Stu, and I go, yeah, he'll do one, he'll do two, might do three. There's no way he's going to do one every week for years. And I think it's that you just like everything, even our postcards. The reason our marketing works, we go to people's houses and they literally will have a stack of our postcards with a rubber band and say, you know, I always knew when I sold my house, I was going to go with you guys because you keep me updated on what's going on in the community. And with videos, it's, so to me, this is a funny story, but we went to our old office. And there's a woman in our old office who's been a realtor for at least 50 years. And she was really good friends with Cindy. And I knew her, but wasn't sure if she remembered me. And so Cindy and I went in, said hi to everybody in the old office. And Cindy said, Ellie, do you remember Tom? And she goes, of course, I see his videos every single week. And so what happens is after a while, people are seeing your stuff that you can't imagine that are seeing it. So it's kind of like, you know, everything with social media where if this person likes it, they tell that person, and if they like it. So it's not like we're going viral or anything, but we're getting noticed enough for it to start making a difference. And it's also something that we can, on a listing appointment, we can send people and show people and say, we're going to get your home noticed in a way that not very many other people are doing. So it's kind of another point of differentiation.
I think that's great. And one of the things you said that I think is really important, you said how you're not going to go viral, right? And I think that there's this, I don't know, myth or feeling like if you're going to do video or you're going to be on social media, like the goal is to get to like millions of followers or millions of views, or I mean, you need to become like the next influencer. And I really push back against that. I think, especially in real estate, you don't even need thousands of views. It's just like to your point, it's just these consistent drips, these consistent actions. And I actually think this came up at the mastermind. It's this idea of consistency builds trust, you know? And I think that's one of the things you guys have beautifully done. You've just consistently shown up, you know, versus like here today, gone tomorrow, you know, here or there. So that I love that. So that's the name of the game for sure.
Yeah. And what Susan said about done is better than perfect. You know, sometimes you mess up, like I'll mess up and I want to do another take. And then we go back and look at them and we go, well, wait, the first one where I messed up, that's how people talk. And it was actually better than the one that you did that was exactly right. And so anytime you can throw some humor into it, anytime you have your personality shine through a bit, it just, and that's what happens with doing a lot of them, is that you tend to relax a little more. And so sometimes you throw something out that you would have never thought of if you were so nervous and concentrating on being perfect.
Yep. I love that. I love that. Well, this has been so much fun, Tom and Susan. I so appreciate this conversation. And I know we're going to keep you on the line for a second because we have a couple bonus questions for our podcast listeners. We always have a couple extras for our listeners, our podcast listeners. But as we wrap up this portion, any last thoughts that you want to add, or anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
Make sure you have a good checklist. If you're going to be putting up videos, make sure you got that checklist and you go down and mark it all off.
Well, and also one of the things that I think is when you're doing something, you don't always know when you start where it's going to end up. And what I love about our relationship with the Academy is that it's not just me on the lookout for new stuff. You're always finding new things that you're alerting us to. And that kind of gets us, you know, further along the way. So we like that. And it's, you know, we're just trying to have fun with it. And way back in the day, the best line I ever heard about real estate was like a tagline this guy had was, you know, helping people, having fun, making money. And if we can do those three things, then, you know, it's all good.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, we are going to link to all of Tom and Cindy and Susan's contact information below so you guys can get in contact with them. And for those of you listening over on YouTube or on Facebook, if you love our videos, if you like our style and you would love to hear more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when we have new videos that come out each and every week. And if you are curious about working with us, we would love for you to check out the Get Social Smart Academy. You can hang out with Tom and Susan and myself. They are longtime members, and you can go to katielance.com/academy to check it out. So Tom and Susan, we're going to keep you on the line because we're going to head over to the podcast and answer some more questions over there. But thank you both for being with us today. I sure appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun, Katie.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.